This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Vegas 88. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, my most confident picks, my favorite underdogs. We'll talk Degen props of the night and then finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash the likes. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. Last week, Petr Yan cashed the lock. I was very happy to get things back on track. Got another streak going. I had 3 in a row, took a fumble, and now with a W. So 4-1 over the last 5 is something I feel pretty solid about. Heading into this week, I'm excited as hell for the lock. It's a weight class that I also have a lot of confidence in myself at. So let's jump right into it. The lock of the week.
Here's the undefeated featherweight fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri, Isaac, the Midwest Chopper, Dulgarian!
Isaac Dulgarian to beat Christian Rodriguez is the lock here. I've been on the Dulgarian hype train since he was announced for his UFC debut. I think the guy's a force to be reckoned with. He's got crazy physical strength in wrestling. He's got ferocious ground and pound. Seems to have some serious potential. And like, if you look at Christian Rodriguez, he's a quality fighter too. And he's a good prospect on the come up. But he's naturally a bantamweight now coming up to 145 pounds. There is going to be a different level of strength that he's dealing with here with Isaac Dulgarian, okay? Because, like, let's be honest. Rodriguez was getting out-grappled in the first round by Raul Rosas, who was 18 years old. Dulgarian would bully Rosas with ease. Dulgarian smashed Francis Marshall in his debut, beat the hell out of him with ground and pound from top, and got a first-round stoppage. 6 wins, all by first-round stoppage. Amateur MMA fights, he's got a few of them, all first-round stoppage wins. The guy's a king of one-round domination. Will he be tested and go longer? I think that there's a possibility with somebody to the knowledge of the game. And, you know, I think that Christian Rodriguez is a pretty experienced prospect, right? 10-1. Has 4 UFC fights on a 3-fight winning streak, but jumping up in weight at 145, there's going to be a difference in the physicality and strength. And just because Dulgarian hasn't gone longer doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability to. I don't think you guys should be fooled by that, thinking he's going to gas out if we get into the later stages of this fight. He's around a -188 favorite at worst, and then like at the better side, you'll find him at -160. But for the most part, I'm now seeing in the -180 range. And if you look at open, he was -125. The line has quickly swelled for the side of Dulgarian. Christian Rodriguez +163 as a dog. Rodriguez is a popular people's underdog this week, and I'm against the public side. I think Dulgarian is going to absolutely beat him up. I think Dulgarian gets a finish. Even though Christian Rodriguez is crafty and good, I think he can get bullied bad on the ground and stopped. I think Dulgarian winning inside distance at +160, I would be more intrigued by as far as confidence as opposed to going for the knockout, which is +375, or shooting far for the +525 win by submission prop here. Nonetheless, Dulgarian money line is the lock. I expect him to win this fight. I think the dude's an absolute beast with high potential in the game. Rodriguez is going to be outworked, outmuscled, and I think he's going to get stopped here. I'm going Dulgarian. Officially, I'm thinking TKO, potentially ground and pound, but it's not going to blow my mind if he locks up a submission either. And if we do end up going late, I think Dulgarian could get a 30-27 here and showcase his gas tank in this fight. Dulgarian, money line, he's the lock. He's pulling it off. I'm confident that he wins. That is my lock this week. And let's talk about my most confident picks on the card. We'll bring them up on screen. We got 4 savages. We got Mike Davis, Kenley Nzechukwu. We have Brian Battle, and we have Gerald Mearshart. I got to pop out the Zin real quick. Shout out to the Zins. If they're looking to sponsor me, I'd be very interested. So Zins, hit me up. I really like Mike Davis to win a lot here. We'll bring him up first. He's the first one that I wrote down because I think, to me, if, you know, it was a better line, I would have considered him a lock. The line for his fight, though, keeps getting wider, right? Looking at it yesterday, it was -300. It is swelled up to like -420. So he's a wide favorite right now. I do think Mike Davis is better everywhere than Natan Levy. And I also feel like there's a chance Mike Davis gets his first UFC knockout finish. I think he could sleep Natan Levy in this fight. He's a powerful dude. And he's been inconsistent with fighting, but I want to see him get more active, and I do believe he can make a run to the top 15. Mike Davis by knockout, plus 200. Very possible, though. Natan Levy is a skilled guy, and winning by decision is not crazy either. Davis by decision, though, plus 120. The knockout's got a little more juice. The money line has swelled to a point where it's not really money line bettable. Initially at open, minus 300. I'll be honest, that's not a great money line touch either. It becomes a parlay piece, but a high confidence parlay piece. You will see Mike Davis's name again at the end when we talk parlays. Very confident in a win for him, and I do think he can end up pulling off his first UFC finish. High on Mike Davis. I think he destroys Natan Levy here. That's why I'm kind of thinking knockout makes sense, or even inside distance. Next one, we'll talk in depth, is Kennedy Nzechukwu. My gosh, this line has gotten wide. Minus 700 now I'm seeing. Like, certain spots still have it in the minus 550 range, but it's gotten real big. And it's because Ovince St. Preux is nearly 41. He's just not the same fighter that he once was. I think Nzechukwu probably gets a knockout in this fight here. Knockout win for Nzechukwu doesn't get you much, okay? It's minus 200. You can't do a lot with that. Now, Kennedy Nzechukwu could also get it done inside distance, minus 275, because he has a crafty game. Like, it's not necessarily crafty submissions. I'm not trying to say like he's an absolute maestro of grappling, but he did get submissions in the past, and he's got really long arms. I worry for the OSP chin. He was knocked out quickly against Felipe Lins, but Nzechukwu is not necessarily known for the first round knockout. I've been thinking first round KO, but like, I'm trying to find some type of plus money. The second round knockout for Nzechukwu in this fight here, or even just second round win, rather. We'll pick that instead. It's plus 250. First round sits at plus 115. I do think it could be a calculated Nzechukwu stopping OSP in the second round. I just don't know how washed OSP is. I mean, he just got ran over by Lins in a minute. And though Felipe Lins is a quality striker, he's not this maestro, magnificent stand-up game where he's knocking guys out commonly in the first round. A lot of times, for the most part in the UFC, from what we've seen from Lins, he's a decision winner. I think Nzechukwu's getting a finish. I think he's getting a knockout. Minus 700, I think it's going to happen. I honestly think inside distance could end up being a parlay piece to mesh up with something else. We'll talk parlays at the end, but yeah, I'm liking Nzechukwu's line a lot here. Or rather, not the line, but I'm liking the confidence. And when I wrote it down yesterday, it was minus 510, so we've seen some swelling of this damn line. Bryan Battle, I think he's submitting Loosa. First round Loosa, a danger, a high-risk guy, a very tough guy to deal with. But he's not known for the first round stoppage at a high level of fighting. Bryan Battle is very good at weathering storms. We've seen him come back from getting rocked. AJ Fletcher actually rocked both these men. I believe that Bryan Battle wears on Loosa, and in the later stages of the fight, Battle's live for a submission. I know I've heard the commentary kind of glaze the wrestling of Loosa a bit. Now he's really dialed into training it, something I believe, but Bryan Battle's a tricky grappler, and he's, I think, significantly better in the technical aspects of grappling than Loosa. In the first round, though, Loosa's very strong, and he'll be a bull to deal with. But after that point, he will slow down, and Battle will start taking over. Bryan Battle by submission, plus 550. I'm going to officially call Bryan Battle to win by sub. The money line is not awful in that minus 180 range, but you get like a Degen plus 550. What's Bryan Battle by third round sub? Just like an absolute freak call. Battle by third round submission, plus 1,600. Second round, plus 1,400. I think second and third round sub are very live for Battle, but like, you have a beautiful plus 550. To just prop that up with the sprinkle and then you're money lining it is not a bad idea. I'm a big fan of Bryan Battle. I'll tell you guys that straight out the gate, but that doesn't mean I'm going in this fight with bias. I see him as a significantly better fighter than Loosa. He is dealing with a guy that's physically more imposing, but as the fight wears on, I promise you things will even out and Bryan Battle's technical skill set will shine in this fight. Bryan Battle for the win, and I'm calling submission. I like the jiu-jitsu skill. I like the overall game. I like Bryan Battle to win it. And the final of the most confident picks is GM3, Gerald Mearshard, who's around minus 238, minus 225, depending where you go, as a favorite this week. Barberena plus 200 range as a dog. I think Mearshard has a clear-cut jiu-jitsu advantage. Barberena's biggest weakness, grappling. Mearshardt's biggest strength, grappling. And also, Barberena is undersized for middleweight. I don't think Mearshart is in a significantly dangerous spot, even striking with Barberena at 185 pounds. I believe Mearshart gets it to the ground and finds a sub. The line for submission is just plus 110, a lot less exciting than our last fight with Brian Battle being at the big plus money for sub, but I am predicting a submission for Mearshart. I believe there's a path to victory for him to get it done on the ground. I'm going Mearshart. I'm going submission. We've seen Brian Barberena lose 3 fights in a row, 2 of which are by submission. But even the most recent one against Muradov, it was due to takedowns landing. Mearshart and Muradov actually fought, and Mearshart subbed him. I'm not trying to use MMA math to pick the fight, but Mearshart is definitely a guy that can get Barberena down, and he's definitely a guy that can submit him. So Gerald Mearshart win by submission makes a ton of sense to me. Now, the favorite underdog section this week is not my favorite this week. I'm not loving some dogs, and I'm sure there's a chance that maybe more than what I'm seeing will hit with some of these close matchups. But the one that I picked officially is Chelsea Chandler to potentially body Josiana Nunes. I think somebody with the physicality of Chandler could give Nunes trouble. Nunes has beaten a list of mids, okay? Bia Malecki, and then in her last fight, she took on Zara Farron. Before that, Romana Pascual, 3 fighters who are no longer with the UFC. Chelsea Chandler debuted against Stoliarenko and finished her in the first round. Granted, Stoliarenko's a women's flyweight most of the time, and this is, a battle between much larger girls. Another thing to mention is Chelsea Chandler's sophomore appearance. She got rushed up the ranks and took on Norma Dumont, who's very good. So I don't really think that this is a squash match for Nunes, and the books agree. The odds are on the same side as me. I want to double check what the weight class is for these two because I'm like 80% sure it's at 35. Yeah, it is 35. So both girls are normally women's featherweight, so they're cutting down now to women's bantamweight. The 10 extra pounds off is going to be interesting. I want to see how Chelsea Chandler looks, but I think that Chandler's going to come in shape. Josiana Nunes is significantly shorter, right? What do we got? 5'2", Josiana Nunes, 5'8" for Chelsea Chandler. Now, the grappling skill set of Chandler, maybe not necessarily something she's showcased a ton of, but she does have good control. She does have good strength. If she doesn't let Nunes tee off on her and she slugs back and maybe mixes in takedowns, I think Chandler could win. I like team, right? Gracie. I like the Nick Diaz Army. I like the Cesar Gracie team. I rep with Stockton right here. I think Chelsea Chandler's a dog, and I think she can win this fight. I'm picking Chelsea Chandler as an underdog. Plus 126. Now, if she did get a win inside of the distance, all the way up at plus 300, the knockout is plus 550 with the sub at plus 650. Something to note. Because if you're going to touch a prop inside distance at plus 300, saves you a bit. I do think Chandler money line would be the A side. Not the greatest value, right, at plus 126 with the likelihood of it coming through. I do think the line is fair. I think it's a fairly lined up fight. There's not much I can complain about odds-wise. It's not like Josiana Nunes is like a stupid minus 300 favorite. Then it would be like, bro, Chandler's an absolute attack. But Chandler is a dog pick. It's something I had to mention as far as favorite dogs. A fight that I was tossing and turning on was also Corey McKenna versus Amarim. I did settle with McKenna, who's the favorite at minus 130. Was also debating on going Ann Helliger against Gregorio, but I really like Gregorio's stand-up. And Helliger is plus 138, but I don't think you're crazy for going for some of those dogs. It's just, I just feel my official pick as far as the favorite dog section is Chelsea Chandler. Maybe the weigh-ins, things will change for me. But right now, I'm thinking that a lot of favorites are going to win on this card. We shall see on fight day, and I'm looking forward to finding out. But that is my favorite underdog section. I do want to talk about the props, and I also want to wipe my nose off over here. I'm still a little congested, man. Your boy's a little bit under the weather still, but I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it, and I'm bringing the heat. And I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. All right, so let's talk Degen props of the night, okay? We'll talk about the main one at the top. Tai Tuivasa versus Marcin Tybura. Tybura is half fade, half hair, weird look that he's rocking with. Just makes Tuivasa an absolute lock. Worst haircut of all time, Marcin Tybura is working with. Holy hell, that was a terrible lineup. I don't know why he chose that cut, but hey, that's him. Knockout is minus 115, but honestly, the money line is valuable enough where you can just go straight down. I know this section is Degen props of the night, but it was formerly prop/value bets. And I'm going to consider Tuivasa as a honorable mention value bet addition to this section. And I had to talk about it. I think it was worth mentioning. Now, as far as an over that I like, I think this Culibao Silva over hits. It's minus 200, especially the over 1.5. Minus 300 for the over 1.5 is actually really nice. If you play that over 1.5 in a parlay, it'll end up looking pretty smooth. And I'm pretty sure this fight's going into the later stages with two guys that are skilled strikers and durable. Picking Culibao officially in that fight. And then the next one here is this side, the weird side. It's Amarim by sub, which currently sits at, this is not an official pick, plus 185. That's not great. And then McKenna by decision, plus 130. I think the methods of victory that are most likely are between those two. Just something worth mentioning as far as this section goes. I do think that there's a strong chance that Thiago Moises could sub short notice replacement. Mitch Ramirez, Moises by sub, only slight plus at plus 115. Honestly, I think I threw out a nice D-Gen prop of the night with the actual Brian Battle high confidence pick. So I can't really be too upset with this section, maybe not being extremely D-Gen, because a lot of the fights that we mentioned, I like props for already. So just something to note. I'm curious what Kianzad and Chiasson's over. Minus 360. The first fight ended in a finish, though, but these ladies probably going later. I think there's a real chance that they go 3 rounds, Chiasson and Kianzad. So that's an over to potentially add in. Something worth mentioning. Those are the D-Gen props of the night with an exclusive value bet. Ty Bam Bam Tuivasa, because for 5 extra points, you just go money line, save yourself if somehow he gets a DQ win. Now, as far as the parlay section, I have some written down that I want to go over. I am going to leave out my lock for the parlay section early on, and then, you know, as things get crazier, we'll mix things up. Now, I'm going to play Mike Davis here, and I'm going to put him up with Kennedy and Nzechukwu, if we can find Kennedy. We got to scroll down. There he is. It's only minus 224. Wow, that's terrible. That's like really shit. I'm disappointed that that's what we're looking at. Minus 224. This was much better a couple days ago, but, you know, the lines have moved. That's how the game goes. The lines have moved. Mike Davis and Nzechukwu minus 650. But what if I did Nzechukwu inside distance? What if we do that? And Nzechukwu wins inside distance. Now it's minus 149. This is a lot better. Something to consider. Mike Davis and Nzechukwu inside distance. I like that a lot. Brian Battle to win straight down the line with Mike Davis and Nzechukwu. Now we got what? Plus 130-ish range, plus 127. I think these are 3 savages. Davis Battle. I just want to put together my most confident pick section and see what we're looking at before I get too degenerate here. Kennedy and Nzechukwu. And I want to put in the lock as well. Dulgarian. So if we sweep most confident picks and the lock hits, now we're at plus 413, which is something that's very doable. The over 1.5 is not listed here, but I know the line for the Culibao Silva over 1.5 is around minus 300. So I'll just click this Davis line. If instead of that last Mike Davis link, it was actually the over 1.5 in that fight, you're at plus 584. So decent little call, but I want to go savage. Okay. I'm not trying to play it like a gentleman. I'm trying to play it like an absolute savage. All right. So we're going to go Mike Davis on the lineup. All right. We're going to go with Gerald Mearshart to win by submission. Now we're at plus 193. We're going to go with Kennedy and Nzechukwu to get it done inside of the distance. All right. Plus 291. And we're going to go with an over 1.5 rounds in this Culibao fight, which, you know, it doesn't exist here, but I'm going to use Mike Davis right there. I already put him in right there. Damn. Now I got to find a new minus 300. Holy shit. They're getting me good today, man. Where's a minus 300 that I can use? I'm sure it exists somewhere. Minus 300. We're going to search for it. All right. Let's get to it. Bam, bam. Where's this other one? Bada bang, bada boom. No, it's all there. Okay, that's all the minus 300s we got. Well, I guess I could fucking do this. I'll put in minus 395. It'll be plus 400 range or more if you have that over 1.5. So something worth potentially noting and talking about. But these three together does bring you nice money too. That over 1.5 is a quality addition. I don't think that's a bad idea. If you like Dulgarian too, now you're getting big plus. And if you go with Bam Bam Tuivasa at the top to pull it off, now you got the plus 1,000 range, which I like a lot. And if you did have that over 1.5 rounds, which it would give you around plus 1,300, probably actually plus 1,400 or more off the top of my head. I don't know for sure. But yeah, there's some quality ways you can mix and match some things here. I think that this card has some very interesting props to mix in with your parlays. I mean, you could go with a Dulgarian lock of the week, and then you could also tag that up with Mike Davis, who I'm really very high on, and then Nzechukwu as well. We could line these up. Plus 145 for that one there. It's going to hit too. Brian Battle plus 285, right? Now, if you go savage mode, because that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go real quick savage mode. We got Brian Battle to win by submission, which is a crazy line. You're better off just straight money line attacking it, or excuse me, straight prop attacking it, right down the center. But just for shits and giggles, we're gonna add something a little crazier. And Nzechukwu inside distance. And we're at plus 700. Brian Battle sub, Nzechukwu inside distance. Mike Davis straight down the center, almost plus 1,000 now. This is money right here. You're crazy. You're a savage. That's what I'm thinking to myself. But I think it could hit, man. Meerschaert pulls off a submission in this fight. Fuck, I don't like everything relying on Meerschaert, but, you know, scared money ain't making it. So, boom, plus 2,247 with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then Dulgarian just straight up in it, plus 3,350. Some solid ways to play it, man. And if you had the over in that fight with Culibao Silva, you'd be nearly plus, what, 4,500 or more. Some solid calls. I think my head's at a good spot this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Best MMA Bets. Going on vacation, but I'll still be dropping the content, so keep your eyes locked in on the channel. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Smash the like button if you're new. Subscribe and turn those post notifications on so you don't miss a video. I really appreciate each and every one of you for supporting. Let me know what you thought of the picks and the lock, especially the parlays too, in the comments below. Drop some of your bets, and if you got nothing to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Much love, my people, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.